for the Cooley Region Humane Society is 781-4014, and we're moving on to a game. We're going to play a little toss-up here if we think here, kind of more by ourselves, but we're going to move it. First topic of this game is going to be the NFL Combine. What do you think of the NFL Combine?
Right now, one of the big people that has standing out to me is Stephen Paya, who looks really, really great. He just
strong.
He just beat the record for bench press, which is he did 49 reps in the 225 pounds. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. He's definitely one of the top people out there right now.
For me, it's fun to watch. You know, it's fun to watch these really good athletes, but it's a glorified dog show.
Yeah.
They parade them around. You know, they see how they look, they see what they can run. But a lot of these members don't measure up in football. Like, there's not a lot of times you're running a 40-yard dash in spandex in football.
Or how many times you're gonna have to push that much weight? 49 times. You're never gonna have to do that. Or hey, let's see how high you can jump. It's just like it seems like they should be parading them around like a dog tree, like running around everywhere. It's like, hey, do this, do that, and like it's just pretty much watching them practice. Like I'd be more for their game tape and that. And like the only like Tony Mandrich, he killed the combine. He was a practice freak, and then he turns out to not be that good. Like it's not a good enough science to really care. I'm sure there's some leeway where you could tell from someone, but.
Well, you could throw Tom Brady out there. I see you're wearing the Pats jersey right now, and he wouldn't allow anybody in anything. Moving on, we're going to stick along with college football. About the two quarterbacks that are up for debate right now, Cam Newton, or Blaine Gabbert. So who you guys got?
I said Blaine Gabbert.
All right, because you think about it, it depends on who Newton turns out to be. Is he going to be a Steve McNair or is he going to be a Vince Young? Because that's who he's kind of like. But like Gabbert's almost the same size as Newton. That surprised me when they listed him. I didn't know he was that big, so I'm taking Gabbert just because he fits more the NFL mold. He's like a passer. Like Newton, just if he turned out to be McNair, that's the only real positive scenario I see for Newton.
I'm going to actually take Newton to change things up here a little bit. He's a physical freak, like you said. And I'm gonna roll the dice that Blaine Gabbert's not going to be a Dan Marino or a Brett Favre or a guy like that that's throwing for all his touchdowns. So I just like Newton's upside, and I think if he can get all the off-the-field issues under control, he'd be a great pick. And he's one of those guys that you kind of have to take him with that risk factor because the wow factor is so good.
He's got a way bigger risk-reward.
Exactly.
Like Gabbert, I don't say he'll be a big like Marino. That he'll probably just be a serviceable like maybe Chad Pennington, like just someone you can fill in for a couple of years and be good. But like for Newton, like if he does turn out to where he used to be,
it's scary.
That is it. It's very scary for like Gabbert. I honestly had never really heard of the guy till towards the end of the season. All of a sudden, like, oh, this Missouri guy is going to be a big NFL prospect.
As long as Newton,
where the hell he come from?
Yeah, as long as Newton can, fix his life off the field, I think he can be good. So, moving on, we have Bowers versus Fairley. Two of you guys.
Yeah, they're the projected number one people.
Who for the number one? I'm going to actually take Daquan Bowers. And just for the versatility factor, in college he played a defensive end in the 4-3, and when they played a 3-4, he moved into the inside. He moved to the inside to play nose tackle. So he can move along the defensive line and still be effective. He's a physical freak. He's bigger and faster than Fairley, so that's who I got.
Yeah, I was going to take Bowers too, because Fairley, he had a huge national title game, and he had big moments in the Alabama one too.
Right.
But before that, this is another one that just came out of nowhere. But even then, for Bowers, he led the nation in sacks, 15.5. But like Bowers, they say people remind him a lot of Julius Peppers. Right. And if you get a Julius Peppers, like you said, if you can move him around in a 3-4 type, because Fairley, he's in the middle, which D tackles going high, they're real risky. I know Dominic Sue had a great year this year, but then you look in the past, you got Big Daddy Wilkinson, like Jerome Brown, all these guys with the Jets, Ferguson, like they're pretty. It's not the most scientific. Look at Justin Harrell.
Yeah, a lot of them go top.
All the high ones, really they're really risky. So if you can get someone who at least can move around, so if he sucks at one spot, be like, okay, let's try you here. I'll try Bowers first too instead of Fairley.
Yeah, I actually had Bowers too. So
all right.
Definitely.
All right, well, we're a big group of agreement here then. And all right, our last topic for the combine discussion here, the Wonderlic test. Buy or sell the Wonderlic test? Does it even really matter?
No. Okay, well, they just said that Craig Elroy, almost aced it.
Yeah.
He got 48 out of 50. Honestly, and like the average, which is twice the league average. Okay, seriously, I don't understand the test. I don't see the point of it. at all?
They said you get 12 minutes for 50 questions.
Yeah.
It's a standardized test,
Yeah.
basically.
Pretty much.
And the average NFL average right now is 20.
Yeah.
You obviously want guys like your quarterbacks and your linemen to have high scores on that, because those are your guys that are real cerebral and have to think through the blocking schemes and the coverages. But other than that, I'm not buying it at all.
Well, like one thing
that's a big deal.
Like one way that proved, like Alex Smith, the year for Rodgers, Alex Smith got a 40, and here I was in the mid-30s.
And this is out of 50.
Out of 50, so it's not like an exact science. I'm sure it matters somewhat. Like if you get like a 2 on it, it'd be like, all right, that guy can't do anything at all. But even then.
Yeah, I looked up some players that didn't do very well on it that, were great football players. Dan Marino, arguably the best passing quarterback of all time, he had 15.
Yeah.
So, and he's
and there's like Mark Sanchez, I saw he scored pretty high, and there's like all these, or not Mark Sanchez, sorry, Matt Leinart. I was thinking USC, the one who didn't turn out. Yeah, Matt Leinart, he scored really high, so it's like, it's not an exact science. It goes along with the combine where it's like stupid animal tricks. It's like, oh, what can you do? Well, I guess no, we might make you think for a bit. So, all right, well, we're done with the combine talk, so we're going to take another break for a little Perfect Pets.
This is Navy. She is a sweet little lady. She loves car rides and to snuggle in laps. She is house trained and would do best in a home with children 10 years and older. This is Hunter. He is a family companion, eager to please and easygoing. He is a silly man who would do well with children of any age.
This is Theodore. He is a domestic, medium-hair male who is cute and cuddly and loves to play, play, play. He needs a lot of great toys to play with to keep him busy. These are Timon and Pumbaa. They are brothers who are looking for a home that would love to have them both. They are sweet, cuddly, and full of energy and love to do all fun things that kittens love to do.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
All right, and yet again, the number is 781-4014 for those perfect pets who can probably do stupid tricks as well, much like the combine. So moving into another game, we're going to play in or out real quick. College basketball teams that are on the fence or bubble teams, starting off in the Big Ten, Michigan State. Who you got them in or out?
I got them in for what you just said. They're in the Big Ten. They play a really tough schedule. They played a really tough out-of-conference schedule, too.
Yeah.
Speaking of UConn, Syracuse, Washington, and Texas. So for those reasons, I got them.
Yeah, I got Michigan State in, too. Just, the Big Ten is one of the best conferences out there. I mean, you really can't beat their schedules.
I kind of got them out, but like it's a real tough schedule. But like playing their tough schedule, you do have to win a few. Like you can just sign up and have a tough schedule. Like I could sign up in tough classes and get a bunch of Fs. No one's gonna think I'm a genius. And then like they beat number 11 Washington, they're not even really ranked now. They did beat us, even though that was a rough loss. We tanked that one at the end. But they are a good team. They're just not having a good season really.
Speaking of big conferences, now moving to the Big East with Marquette. What do you guys think?
All right, I got Marquette in mostly because I'm a little biased. There was Wisconsin team, but they do have a pretty good resume. They're in the Big East. They got a winning record in the Big East, could have 11 teams in the tournament. So a couple big wins. I do have Marquette. I have them in.
I actually have Marquette out. I'm not a huge fan of them, so I don't know if I'm just being biased or what, but I feel like, they could win.
You get them out? Well, I'm going to put them in, just like Adam did. They're playing in the tough Big East, like I just said, and they had 3 big wins against UConn, Syracuse, and a team we already talked about, Notre Dame, who can really
And then I saw all their losses had been teams who were ranked at the time. So it's not like they had any bad losses. So, all right, and our next team, who we wrote the show before last night, but we'll talk about it anyway, Kansas State. You got them in or out?
Definitely in after last night, no doubt. Playing in a tough Big 12 this year, I feel like I'm saying that about every conference. But they had a lot of big wins. They beat Texas last night, like we just saw. They beat Kansas when they were number 1, so that was another number 1 upset. And Missouri, who's also ranked in the conference. And
that was in like the last 3 weeks.
Right. They'll probably be a 6 or 7 seed.
Yep.
I want to say I have them out because I am a huge Mizzou fan. So, but unfortunately, I have to change it to I have them in.
Get them in.
Yeah.
Well, they started off like I didn't even realize they were preseason number 3. They were supposed to be really good, and then they had a terrible, I think it's December, but this in February alone was all those big wins you mentioned, and they're being led by senior Jacob Pullum, who's got almost 20 points a game, and he had a huge game again last night. So.
And they're getting hot at the right time,
Yeah.
which is something big for the tournament. So.
Yeah.
Moving on, we'll go to Virginia Tech, who upset number 1 Duke this weekend. Who you guys got?
I have them in. I think that big upset with Duke, it really had made them strong, and I feel like if they continue with this, like, it could extremely help them. I feel like they can be in. So. Yeah.
Well, I agree they could be in, but I have them out as of now because the only reason I think they can get, if they have a good tournament run in the ACC, because otherwise right now they're big. That is a real big win. Like they beat Florida State and Maryland twice in their conference, who are have winning records in the conference, but overall they're not really the greatest. So
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna have them out just because they're playing in an ACC, which I finally can say is not a good conference.
Yeah,
it's a terrible ACC to tell you the truth. They're only 9-5 in that ACC, which is only has 2 ranked teams. So I'm gonna put them out for that reason. They also only have that 1 signature win. So.
Yeah, which is surprising. Like, see, you have Duke's up there, North Carolina's finally coming back, but for Florida State and Maryland to be like, because I know Maryland but Florida State to be towards the top.
Yeah.
They're kind of up and down like where the usual teams that are good. But all right, now time to move on to FaceTime, and this is sadly my last Sports Talk Live. Even though I'm sports director, I only get one. Don't know who to talk to there, but anyway, instead of writing a rant, much like all the other, I thought instead I reflect on these 2.5 years that some consider maybe wasted, like parents' money and that. But I thought I'd reflect on it, so I made a little tape that we can go to right now just to look back on times that been. Power! I'm not gonna wave to you Hawaiian style. It's a gun rack.
It's like, what the hell is he doing?
So you know what? It's no longer fear Iraq, it's fear the rack. We've had 9 years of anger built up in this massive frame, ready to explode. I failed Hunter's safety because they had no test to categorize these guns. Tool shed, Jared Allen. Buns and ties, Jay, I look like I came straight from Chuck E. Cheese Cutler. That tramp and the butt monkey. Tool shed affliction guy, that's, look at my personality, baby, here and here. But ladies, you could start a revolution. You could dance or talk to guys like me. You know how grateful us Skeletors would be if you started talking or dancing to us? Sadly, I've been shut down 387 times by girls during the street. I know I have the body frame of an Ally McBeal. This is Brett Favre throwing pics and texting chicks. So instead, he sent me a holiday text. That thing's old and wrinkly, I yelled with a shock. Why send me a picture of retired Bobby Cox? But when you're Brett Favre, why the hell not? Tiger, fist pump. So the next time you're at the club and the girls are looking fine, take a look at the ring on your finger and stay off the back nine. Yes. You. All right, yeah, what a trip it's been for me. I'd like to thank the people I was on the show with. Jimmy Ash, first one. Jim Muhlendyke, Abby Schvink, which actually is Schvink, but I like to say it that way. Ashley DeLue, you guys, Ash Cary, and Drew White. And my main man, he graduated last year, Josh McCauley, who I actually did it with 5 times. Because for some reason we just never felt like leaving. Of course, Dr. T, I thank her for letting me do this for some reason. No one ever told me that I was bad at it. So they just keep letting me try, I guess. So, yeah.
Well, you're not bad at it, if you ask me. So.
I got recognized downtown once.
Yeah.
But then she was roommates with someone who was in the class, so I don't know if that counts. But for a while, one of my videos was #1 for YouTube. So I'd like to thank my mom for that one. Thanks, Mom. So,
a lot of hits on there.
Yeah.
A couple of views.
Yeah, pretty much just because I emailed it to her and then she emailed it to all her friends. So.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So, if you don't catch us there, you can always catch us at YouTube WMCM TV, which is our station. So.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't really have a rant. I have more of comments about March for Madness. I love the tournament. I think it's a great tournament to get ready for. I'm really hoping that we can have some underdog moments. You know, I would love to see that. It's always brilliant. So, but, you know, this tournament, I'm getting excited. Let's get excited for the March Madness.
Love it. Perfect bracket either of you this
Yes.
year?
Oh, of course.
Stop.
Of course.
Of course.
Every time.
I'm going for a three-peat on my perfect. So.
I had a run in high school where I got 4 champs in a row, but then the following year was terrible.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have today on Sports Talk Live. Please stop by next time to check out Sports Talk Live.